The other cadence is to making sure that writing the epics theme stories and then grooming those. So I'm clubbing those next two items together. We are, again, going back to Mike Cohen, who's a really pretty, I would say, experienced and seasoned agile methodologist, right? So he says that try to write small stories, right? So we try to write smaller stories. So I would recommend, we should probably write smaller stories that are bite-sized, which can be actually easily comprehended by remote teams, right? So if you are truly going into remote, either onshore or offshore, right? Especially in the case of offshore, right? So you want to make sure that the stories are comprehended by your team members, right? Who might be sitting, either from, you're writing the story in New York, the developer sitting in California, or the developer sitting in maybe in Romania or somewhere, right? So you want to make sure that story is easily comprehended. If you write long stories, they will probably miss out on some of the acceptance criteria that is written, and it might be critical, right? Or maybe caught in the QA cycle, but then again, that's going to become more expensive because you have to go back, during the testing cycle. Yep, I missed that one acceptance criteria. Go back, develop, deliver, QA, and the whole agile methodology cycle starts again. Now, this kind of leads into the grooming part, right? So once you have very crisp, smaller stories written out, you want to make sure you do the grooming, right? So I recommend doing grooming once, or maybe if you're doing it 1 hour a week, then maybe you may want to probably see what can be actually groomed in that 1 hour. Or you can extend it to maybe 2 days or in 2 hours, so 1 hour each, right? We are doing it, 1 hour each. So Thursday, Friday are strictly for grooming sessions. So the stories that are written Monday through Thursday, day end, or Monday through Wednesday, then Thursday and Friday, 1 hour each, you can allocate time. Okay, this is 8 a.m. Everybody in the Scrum team actually get together. Scrum Master reads those stories, groom those. The stakeholder, product owner needs to be present there. They review it. They groom the story. They put story points onto it, right? I don't want to get into agile methodology, but I'm using those terms because I personally think agile is really powerful, and we have implemented this across our entire organization. So then you do is basically you groom the stories depending on the size of the stories, depending on the size of the teams, either 1 or 2 hours a week. And then basically put the story points. Now, once you have the story points collected by the end of the week, Friday, you know that, okay, the velocity of your team is, this much, let's say, 30 story points, and all of the stories that you groom until Friday, they all add up to 50 story points. Now you have a delta of 20 story points, and then you engage your the product owner, you engage your, in those grooming sessions, you engage your Scrum Masters and your development team, Scrum team, and then decide what needs to give, right? Because obviously the velocity is 30. You have groomed all these stories on Thursday or Friday, which comes back to 50 points, and then you do the adjustments. Having that cadence is very important. Again, a lot of questions will be asked, a lot of clarity would actually bubble up, right? So this way, the team who will be developing it, the execution team, I call it, the QA, the developers, the Scrum Master, they will all be cleared, and then they can put the notes. They can also adjust the stories, right? I've done it many times where a story is too large, cannot be delivered in one sprint, so we have to break out the story into 2 sprints. So we do iteration 1, iteration 2. The product owner can decide, yep, you can deliver this story in production, or you can hold it until the next complete story is done in the next sprint. So have that cadence of grooming. The next thing you want to do is demos. Very, very important, very critical, right? So when you're actually delivering, you're developing something, you want to make sure that you are delivering and developing what was asked by the stakeholders, right? So have those demos done. Again, the cadence is maybe if you are doing a 1 week cycle, then you may want to probably do the demos either Friday or Monday, depending on when your release cycle is. We are doing it every Tuesday, for example, as a release cycle. So Monday through Friday, all the development done. Thursday, Friday are grooming for the next week. And then Friday, we do the demo. And you can, once you know, okay, everything looks good, then you can deploy it on Monday, right? I don't recommend doing deployments on weekends because, people might be taking time off or whatnot. And if something goes wrong, then you're basically, dead in the water, right? So then what you do is you ice it, you put it in on the Friday as a deployment cycle, and then package and then actually deliver it and deploy it on Monday. However, make sure you do the demos, right? So demos are very critical because sometimes even the stakeholders, when they're writing stories, or product owner writing stories, they're providing feedback. After looking at the what has been done, they may probably request some more changes. Agile is all about feedback. So having those frequent and cadence to those Fridays, the demos are very critical. I can't stress enough. I've seen many a times where we develop and the stakeholders and the product owner said, no, I think we may have to probably change it. And then we come back and maybe do another iteration and do it before it goes out into production. Slack or Zoom channels, these are the tools that you can use for communication. We use both Slack and channel, and Zoom channel creates specific channels for specific topics. The next cadence would be entire team meetings, right? This would give you an idea of what is the level of your thought of your team is, right? So maybe some team members are having some issues. They can bring those up, right? Saying, oh, we are going too fast. We are seeing issues. So I give the entire team an opportunity to talk about any issues and bubble up those issues for discussions, right? It could be like, no, we need to probably have more grooming sessions. We need to change the demo time or whatever it is. So have those team meetings once a month. You don't really have to meet like once a day or every day or every week. I would recommend doing this with your direct reports or your colleagues once a month. This way they can collect all of this stuff. Make it formal, right? What I mean by make it formal is that have a repository where you can store write down all the items that needs to be discussed in that entire team meeting. Give an opportunity for every team member to write them in advance, like throughout the month they can start writing. I want to discuss the velocity about the team in the next entire team meeting, or I want to talk about something else, right? So whatever the items are, give the team an opportunity to document what they want to discuss at the end of the month, right? So maybe use Confluence, and document all those items.